So we have Friday the 1st, Monday the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. Then we have the 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 25th, the 26th, the 27th, the 28th, 29th. Just like to get it all nice and neat before I throw my bag of anchors down on it, and then it moves around cards as well, and I call that that's called clairkinetics. So we have some local high information. These are local highs. They may not necessarily correspond to the dates on the timeline. That's more so found in the relationships on the timeline to those cards. And then these ones on the bottom of the timelines, these are your lows, your local lows. And then a 10-year overview I started doing. We have local highs, local lows, excuse me, these are trade opportunities. That's my little puppy right there. 6 months old. And there you have it. That's the S&P 500 April 2022. Stay tuned, and we're going to do the actual SO meta-analysis. This is the S&P 500 1-month overview reading for April 2022. It's currently March 26th, 2022, 2:58 a.m. So the overall theme and behavior for the month of April 2022 is the Hermit card crossed with the Defeat card. So we have a significant flight to safety from a crest where we fail to break through a resistance. It's a key resistance level. We fail to break through it, and then that's followed by a breakdown through a key support level and a flight to safety. And that's the overall theme behavior for the month. And you can see right here we have a correlation. The orange is a correlation to the theme card, so flight to safety here, and I mean, looking at it, so we've got a month's high correlator here, a month's low correlator here as well, so that's interesting. But that's based on there being likely being a low for just the first. There's only been 2 days in the month thus far, and we have a month's low and a month's high. But what's noticeable is that we don't see either of those again. I see a lot of red. I think we go lower from here based on the theme and overall behavior cards. But right here we have an opportunity roughly on the 5th, 6th of April. There's an opportunity to open up some protection, to open up, buy some puts, open up protection on long positions, short some positions. There's going to be a lot of volatility when we'll meet resistance on the 5th about midday, mid to late in the day, and then it looks like the next morning or right on the edge between the two, like in the post pre-market area, we have a high, and it must be first thing in the morning, or it's somewhere. It's like the 5th or the 6th, right around there, is that opportunity, and then we go lower. What's interesting to note is I've got these two parts of the same, and this is the last day of March. We have this here noting the significance. Boom. So there's the Ace of Cups there. We decline. Disappointment. It's like we have a high and we drop. We decline and we have a high, then we drop. And there's a high and then we drop, drop, drop. So the behavior on the month's high, we'll reach the month's high when we travel along a diagonal trend line, and then we break through a horizontal resistance and meet a second horizontal resistance before pulling back to somewhere between those two price levels, and that's where we'll form that high or highs for the month. And then there's going to be a notable support level that we attempt to establish support along. It's going to be an important support level, highlighted by signified by the power card. In the dailies, we'll likely find this signified by the power card. Excuse me. Matter of fact, April 1st, the power card was coming up a bunch in one of these dailies. We'll see when we go through the daily recording which one it was, but the power card like flipped up kinetically twice for me in one daily reading. I remember that. Very significant. So yeah, there's going to be an important low and an attempt to establish support, and I guess since it's the low, it's a successful establishment of support. That's remains to be seen. Crazier things have happened and still made sense. Okay, so on the 1st, which is a Friday, we have the new moon. We have a high, the first high for the month towards the end of the day on that Friday, and it looks like we have it looks like we're counting on breaking out, or they're counting on something to take place. It doesn't come to fruition. There's a disappointment, and as a result, we break down through a support level, and that's on that Friday the 1st. Monday the 4th, we have a local high, a trade opportunity, and we also have a correlation here to the flight to safety. The Queen of Swords. So Monday the 4th, we're going to have volatility with a sharp dip within that period of volatility. There'll be one local high there, and a bunch of volatility as we go to a flight to safety, and a low there at the end of the day on Monday the 4th. Then we have a ton of volatility. There's a resistance level that's highlighted, an important resistance level that is highlighted mid to late in the day on the 5th, in the midst of a bunch of volatility. We break down we fail to break through that, and we break down from that price level. That's an opportunity there there's a local high, and there's a failed attempt to break resistance, followed by a breakdown through an important support level. It looks like we touch on the Queen of Discs price level, which is usually the revisiting of a past support level that was a good opportunity at the time. And yeah, there's a lot of selling, so we'll be close to overbought, if not overbought, on RSI for the SPY on that 5th, on Tuesday the 5th, around there, or Tuesday the 5th, 6th-ish. And then Congress is going to, and then there's a bit of a rally in there between the 5th and the 6th, somewhere in there, that provides the opportunity, that trade opportunity in the midst of two local highs, to open up those puts short positions or protect against long positions. There's also that correlation to the flight to safety on that day. So we should have a notable decline out of that rally. We have a local low, we have two local lows and a trade opportunity on the 7th. We dropped to a support level and bounced along that support level. One of those support levels is going to be an opportunity to cash in, and we're going to meet it. We're going to meet one of those after breaking through multiple support levels on that Friday the 7th. And then on the 8th, out of the decline, we see. Excuse me. Let me back up. It also looks like we have the week's low there on the 7th. It looks like possibly early on the 7th. It's a little. I'd have to look at the 1 day for that to tell you, and those aren't quite finished yet. But on the 8th, there's a rally out. There's a fast sudden move higher out of a decline, and that fast sudden move higher marks the end of the decline. It does look like we gap. It looks like we drop or we gap down on Monday. We drop over the weekend and gap down on Monday the 11th. But there's a big push higher, like a very substantial move to the upside on Monday the 11th to reach a distant resistance level. And there's one local high on that day. On the 12th, we have two local lows. One of those local lows, we revisit that Queen of Discs price level again. So Queen of Discs price level was visited on the 5th. And we see it again here on a correlation to the Queen of Discs at one of the local lows here on the 12th as well. And then there's a reversal at one of those local lows. So a range holds us within the range. We reverse somewhere in there. We may be like I sense that we're bound between the range. The resistance that we reach on Monday the 11th is the top of the range there, and then at the end of the 12th, there's the bottom of a range, and by that I mean the range for the day of the 12th. We have a trade opportunity, we have a cash-in opportunity on the 13th, and we successfully turn resistance into new support level. Looks like we do that early in the day on the 13th. And there's a local low in there on the 13th that marks an opportunity to cash in. We revisit a crest in the midst of some erratic behavior. We revisit a crest, which was an opportunity on the 14th. In the midst of there's a price level. There's a price level, and we go like this through it, kind of erratically. Well, there's a crest that we revisit there. That's an important price level. And then the markets are closed on the 15th for Good Friday. We have a full moon. We're coming up on, this is an interesting month, guys, because we have a solar eclipse, and then we also have the shadow. We move into the pre-shadow phase of Mercury retrograde. And the pre-shadow phase is where stuff really starts to go haywire the deeper into it we go. And then a solar eclipse, they coincide. There's a lot of evidence supporting that they coincide closely, within a 5-day period. A market crashes coincide with eclipses. Not all eclipses coincide with a crash, but market crashes usually coincide with a solar eclipse, they say. That's been my experience. So, let's see here. On the 18th, there's a local high that we meet. Monday the 18th, there's a local high that we meet by pushing substantially higher, but then we sell down from that local high, not all the way down to where we pushed higher from. So there's a move higher, and then we come back a bit. and almost as though we go through, like, we break through resistance, go higher, and then we come back to that same price level, break down through it, but then come back to it, kind of. That's what I'm sensing. Looks like we have a local high on 19th in the midst of some volatility. There's a fast, sudden move higher, marking the end of a period of volatility. And that fast, sudden move higher takes us to a local high. There's also 2 local lows there within that day of the 19th. One of those is a trade opportunity, and or one of them is met after a notable decline. So, matter of fact, I think we probably have the fast sudden move higher early in the day on the 19th, and then there's volatility in the local low, the day's low, or possibly even the first week's low, it looks like, is there mid to late in the day. Excuse me. And then we have a lower low the following day, it looks like. It's a bottom, a significant bottom, a notable bottom, the Queen of Discs. Excuse me. I retract the last thing, the Queen of Discs that I just said. Back up, erase that. But there is a notable bottom there towards the middle of the week. Off of that notable bottom on the 21st, there's a big push to the upside. I mean, like, big push. So there's a trade opportunity from a low and a trade opportunity at a high. Looks like we gap down notably the following day. Yeah, so we gap down notably. So there's a rally into the end of the day on Thursday. And then there's a rally there's a rally on Thursday the 21st, and a trade opportunity in that rally. We gap down, it looks like, or we decline sharply the following day. But there's also a reversal at a local low there on that Friday the 22nd, and a big push higher all the way from a support all the way to a notable, like, top of a range. So from the bottom of a notable range to the top of a notable range in one day with a local low there. Okay, then we have a local high on the 25th. So it looks like we probably gap up over the weekend of the 22nd to the 25th. It looks like we gap up. There's a local high there. So there's a failed attempt. There's a failed attempt to break a key resistance level here. It looks like at the end of Monday the 25th. A great trade opportunity right there on the cusp of us moving into, because on the 26th we move into the influence of Mercury retrograde's pre-shadow. Things start to go screwy. So it looks like we have another failed attempt towards the end of the day there to break through key resistance. And the strife card generally implies that a decline with spikes up, but each consecutive spike is lower than the preceding one, and they meet moving averages as resistance. On Tuesday the 26th, we have a local low, a local high, and a trade opportunity. Trade opportunity involves a sharp dip within a period of decline to a local low where there's a princess of discs. There's an opportunity to cash in there on a trade, and a decision between two parties is also highlighted around that local high. But there's a notable decline through multiple support levels that day. A trade opportunity the following day of the 27th. we fall from a price level that we won't revisit within the time frame of the reading. So within the remainder of the month of April, we fall from that through a important price level, through important support, and continue to fall. But the following day, we have 2 local lows and 2 trade opportunities. So the following day is the 28th, and in the midst of a decline, there is an opportunity to open up some long positions. So there's a trade opportunity when we start to kind of calm down, the market calms down, volatility probably wanes a bit. The Queen of Discs price level is met again. There's a reversal off that price level. There's 2 local lows there. And then the following day, the 29th, there's a big push to the upside. The Aeon's like the biggest move to the upside there is in the deck. And that makes sense because we've got the solar eclipse the following day. We also have correlations here for the preview card for the following month. So for May, the Ace of Discs means there's a lot of money to be made here. There's a month's high correlator here, which means that we see either the same price level of the high that we had in the month of April, we'll see it, or a higher one in the month of May. There's 2 major lows and 2 trade opportunities, and like a moderate high in there as well. Excuse me. The decision between two leaders is still highlighted. It affects the masses. It's still highlighted in the month of May there. And then Queen of Cups, there's a sideways S that provides a trade opportunity. So sideways S pattern highlighted there with a drop to a support level. Excuse me. Good trade opportunity there between the 27th and the 28th, it looks like, or even there's a bunch of trade here, 26th, 27th, 28th. Yeah, a good amount of money can be made here. Alright guys, well that's the April 2022 1-month overview reading for the S&P 500. If you like this sort of stuff, guys, let me know. You want to see more? This video, all the information in this video, people are on the mailing list that you can sign up for free on the website tarotfortraders.com. That's our official website, tarotfortraders.com. You can go there, sign up for the free mailing list, and you'll get a free newsletter every month. It comes out prior to us posting this video. It comes out and it precedes the month that we do all the predictions for, obviously, otherwise they wouldn't be predictions. And we're averaging about a 98% average, and that's like 35, 36, somewhere in like the 30s statements being correct. And that's predicting highs and lows to the day, the behavior, and all that stuff, guys. We're predicting it with a 98 average accuracy, and that's like all of the months that we've done, which is several. So check it out if you're not on it already, guys. And do me a favor. This stuff's free. Do me a solid. What really benefits me and my posse, all the people, because it's not just me that's doing this stuff, guys. Shout out to Ellie. Shout out to Sean. Shout out to Yu-Ting, shout out to Tommy. You know, these are all people that I work with. They're all on a team. They make this stuff happen, so I can just do the predictions. You know, spend my time with my chi. So guys, do us all, this whole team of hardworking, pay it forward people, and hit that subscribe button, hit that share button, and hit that like button for us. I appreciate it. I'll see y'all guys on the next one.